In a world where humans treat demi-humans as nothing more than slaves, Banaza stands out like a sore thumb. Unlike everyone else, he's kind to demi-humans. And for that, humans despise him. Even the demi-humans warn him to stop being so nice, but Banaza refuses. He's determined to bridge the gap between humans and demi-humans, even if no one else seems to care. One day, out of the blue, Banaza is summoned to a completely different world. He's told he's a candidate to become a hero in the magical kingdom of Clyro, a realm locked in a never-ending war against the Dark Army. The kingdom has been summoning heroes from other worlds, hoping they'll turn the tide of battle. First things first, they test Banaza's abilities. When he was summoned, he was reset to level 1, but in exchange, candidates are supposed to receive divine blessings from the gods, powers that ordinary people can't achieve through training alone. This process is called divine revelation. Banaza can read their language, but when his stats are displayed, everyone is horrified. He didn't receive any divine blessing. His stats are completely ordinary, just like any regular person's. The summoners see this as a massive failure. Banaza tries to explain that he's just a merchant and asks to be sent back home, but no one listens. Instead, they're too busy fawning over another candidate who has stats at level 999. This guy is hailed as the savior, and everyone begs him to lead the fight against the Dark Army. Banaza, meanwhile, is left in the dust. He pleads to be sent back, but the king announces that the summoning gate is closed. To make up for their mistake, the kingdom decides to exile Banaza to the Deeves forest up north, where he can live out the rest of his life in peace, as long as he keeps quiet about their blunder. On the journey to the forest, Banaza's escort refuses to talk to him, but Banaza's smooth-talking skills eventually break the ice. He learns that in this world, humans and demi-humans are treated equally, which is a stark contrast to his old world. After 20 long days, they finally reach the forest. Banaza is given a bottomless bag filled with money and enough food to last a while. The driver warns him about the Dark Army lurking in the forest and advises him to leave quickly if he wants to survive. Once alone, Banaza rummages through his bag and finds a sword. He spots some slimes nearby and assumes they're harmless, but he's wrong. The slimes attack, and Banaza barely manages to defend himself. His cheap sword starts falling apart, but then a notification pops up. He's reached level 2. Confused, Banaza checks his stats and notices strange symbols replacing the numbers. He switches on voice notifications and learns he's unlocked several magic spells. He's shocked but quickly realizes there's a monster lure spell on the bottomless bag they gave him. That's why the slimes attacked. He removes the spell and wonders why the kingdom would use such easily removable magic. Banaza searches for a safe spot, but is interrupted by another notification. The forest is filled with melissae, a harmful substance emitted by demons. The system suggests purifying the forest, and Banaza agrees, thinking it's a good idea. He activates the purification spell, and to his surprise, it unleashes an epic display of magic. The forest is cleansed, and Banaza levels up multiple times. Back at the castle, the princess criticizes the king for sending Banaza to the forest, especially since it's their fault he's there. The king dismisses her concerns, calling Banaza worthless. But then, urgent news arrives. Someone has performed the most powerful holy magic ever: purification. The king assumes it's the golden-haired hero, but he's wrong. The magic was cast in the forest where Banaza was exiled. Meanwhile, Banaza discovers he's leveled up to 367. He realizes that in this world, you can level up by using magic, not just by fighting monsters. However, the strange symbol next to his stats still puzzles him. Banaza decides to use shape-shifting magic to blend in since he's banned from living in town. He changes his appearance and teleports to the city. In his old world, teleportation was advanced magic, but here it seems common. He tries to teleport back home, but it doesn't work. Banaza, now calling himself Fleo, heads to the Adventurers Guild to make some money. He takes on a quest to escort a girl to the Deeves forest, even though no one else is willing to go due to the Dark Army's presence. When he reveals he can use teleportation magic, everyone is shocked, including a royal knight named Bal Rosa, who accuses him of lying. Fleo proves his abilities by teleporting the group to the forest. They're amazed, and Bal Rosa apologizes for doubting him. The girl notices the forest is no longer covered in melissae, but before Fleo can explain, Bal Rosa reveals that the girl is actually a demon named Fenry, one of the Infernal Four. Fenry unleashes her power, but Fleo manages to teleport everyone to safety. He realizes he's in a dangerous world, but he's determined to survive and make a name for himself. Fenry tries to stop Fleo, but he's not about to back down. In a flash, he activates a spell called Meteoric Leap, launching himself high into the sky. Even he's surprised by how effortlessly he pulls it off. Once airborne, he quickly casts another spell to defend himself. Fenry, however, is no pushover. She starts teleporting around to dodge Fleo's whirlwind attack, but Fleo isn't playing games. He hits her with a gravitational spell, locking her in place. Fenry is stunned. She didn't expect Fleo to be this powerful. Fleo, meanwhile, is scrambling through his list of spells, trying to find one that can restrain her without causing harm. His system suggests subjugation magic, a spell that would essentially enslave the target, giving Fleo complete control over them. Fleo immediately rejects the idea. He's not about to use something so corrupt, especially since he's trying to leave that kind of darkness behind in his old world. Time is running out. Fenry is on the verge of breaking free from the gravitational spell, and she's hurling attacks at Fleo left and right. Thankfully, Fleo's system keeps nullifying her spells, but it's only a matter of time before she escapes. The system keeps pushing Fleo to use subjugation magic, but he refuses. He's not here to enslave anyone. Then, out of nowhere, Fenry admits defeat. She's out of magic and can't break free. She tells Fleo to end her life, but Fleo refuses. He explains that he's not a fighter and has no interest in killing her. Fenry is shocked when he releases her. She reveals that she's a warrior of the demons, constantly clashing with humans, but Fleo doesn't care about her origins. To him, she's just someone who's surrendered, and that's enough for him to spare her. Fenry is moved by his kindness. She transforms back into her human form, dropping her beastly appearance. Fleo offers to let her go, but only if she promises to stop attacking humans. He rummages through his bottomless bag for some clothes for her, but she's exhausted from the battle and falls asleep. That night, Fleo takes a moment to review his spells. He's baffled by how powerful his magic seems to be in this world. Why is teleportation considered rare? Why are people so shocked by his abilities? He doesn't have answers, but he's determined to figure it out. When Fenry wakes up, she's confused. She can't believe she lost, especially since she's resistant to magic. She notices that Fleo healed her while she was unconscious, something most people wouldn't have done. She points out that others would have killed her and taken her as a trophy, but Fleo didn't. Grateful, she promises never to fight humans again. Fenry is so impressed by Fleo's power and kindness that she declares him her master. She vows to dedicate her life to serving him, even offering to be his slave. Fleo is uncomfortable with the idea. He's not about that life. But Fenry insists. She says if she can't serve him, she has nothing left to live for. Reluctantly, Fleo agrees to let her travel with him. Later, Fleo opens up to Fenry about his situation. He tells her how he was summoned to this world as a hero candidate, but failed because he had no skills. He shows her his true appearance and admits he's clueless about what to do next. He's sure she'll regret following him, but Fenry explains that her race lives solely to serve the one they recognize as their master, no matter who they are or where they come from. She swears unwavering loyalty to him, and Fleo finally accepts her as his companion. Meanwhile, back at the castle, the king is fuming. The golden-haired hero, who was supposed to lead the kingdom to victory, let his entire army get wiped out. The hero blames the soldiers, claiming they panicked and that he did everything he could to save them. But one soldier tells the king the truth. The hero stayed behind the army the entire time, then fled when things got tough. The king is furious, and the soldiers are starting to lose faith in their so-called savior. The hero, alone and frustrated, is angry that his abilities haven't improved at all, even after a month of training. He can handle weak monsters, but anything stronger completely overwhelms him. His servant, Suya, shows up, and the hero, in a fit of arrogance, tells her he'll spoil her with the castle's money. The next day, Fleo decides to visit the Adventurers Guild to make some money. Fenry, now calling herself Ray, insists on coming with him. At the guild, a merchant mistakes them for a married couple, and Fleo thinks it might be easier to travel together if they pretend to be husband and wife. Ray happily agrees, even calling Fleo darling in front of everyone. At the guild, Ray gets her own adventure tag, and when she sees Fleo with matching accessories, she's reminded of a marriage ritual from her Lupin race, where couples swallow the bones of prey they've hunted together. Fleo quickly changes the subject when the receptionist asks for Ray's name. He registers her as Ray to keep her true identity hidden. Just then, the guild announces an urgent quest. Psycho bears are threatening the city. These are the same bears that destroyed the hero's army, and the guild is offering 10 times the usual reward for each bear killed. Fleo isn't sure if he can handle it, but Ray insists they can. She even comes up with a plan. She'll take down the bears herself to prove Fleo's strength, since he's the one who defeated her. Fleo teleports them to the forest where the bears are located. They find a vacant house to use as a base, and Ray is confident she can handle the battle alone. But Fleo isn't about to let her fight alone. He's got some spells he wants to test. As they prepare, they hear screams. A group of knights, the same ones Fleo saved earlier, are surrounded by psycho bears. Ray doesn't care about them, but Fleo insists on helping. Together, they take down the bears, saving the knights once again. The knights are beyond grateful and introduce themselves. Bal Rosa, Blossom, Bolano, and Bairai. They explain that the Golden Hero has refused to lead another army unless he finds trustworthy people to serve him. The king has ordered the knights to train until they can take on beasts like the psycho bears, but they're struggling. They beg Fleo to teach them. Fleo is hesitant. He doesn't even fully understand how magic works in this world, but Ray convinces him to help. The knights are thrilled, and they even ask if they can stay at the house, offering to pay rent. Ray, feeling a little jealous of the attention Fleo is getting, suggests they share a bed since they're married. Meanwhile, word reaches the Dark One about the individual who wiped out demons and purified the Thieves' Forest. The Dark One is shocked to learn it was just one person and orders his subordinates to capture this powerful individual at all costs.